Paris, a prominent state legislator, is leaving the General Assembly. House Majority Leader Greg Harris is the highest-ranking openly gay lawmaker in Illinois history. He represents parts of Northwest Chicago, including Uptown, Lincoln Square, and West Ridge. But after 15 years, he's ready to move on. And joining us now to reflect on his career is Democratic State Representative Greg Harris. We appreciate your joining us. Now, you aren't going to run for re-election next year. What brought you to that decision?
We have 2-year terms, Amanda, as you know, and every 2 years it's time to sit down and think, is it time to get back on the ballot, or is it time to move on? And this year I thought it was just time to move on. I'll have served 16 years at the end of my term, and that's been a good long time, and I got a lot of good things done.
So a quick clarification, just a yes, no, you are going to serve out the whole remainder of this term?
That's my plan.
That's the plan. All right. And you're a man who generally sticks to it. So speaking of plans, you were a driving force behind the 2013 law that legalized same-sex marriage. It narrowly passed the House that November, but a half a year earlier, you faced heavy criticism from gay rights advocates for not bringing the bill to the floor then. This is how you responded.
The fiery trial through which we pass will light us down in honor or dishonor to the latest generation. Thank you.
So what were your emotions at that time as an openly gay man? It had to have been incredibly hard to face criticism that you received, including from people who were your allies.
And that recording did not pick up all the booing of the people who were in the gallery that day. A lot of people wanted the bill to go up on the board, even if it was going to lose. And it was a strategic call. It was, in my opinion, it was better to be sure something like that went on the board to win, not to fail, because Illinois was widely seen as the last state that could possibly pass marriage equality. There was a case on its way through the Supreme Court, and a loss could have potentially affected that, as could have a win. It was President Obama's home state at the time, and to lose then would have been a very bad signal. So at the end of the day, it was a tough decision, but in something like this, where millions of people's lives were going to be affected, making sure that we did it and we won was really important. And the state mobilized, people got together, we worked in every one of the 102 counties, and the bill passed in a bipartisan way that November and was signed into law.
And do you see that as your greatest legacy? Perhaps you can speak to even just 3 years earlier, 2010, you sponsored the civil union proposal, and that too barely passed. So what changed in that quick period?
What changed was the people of the state of Illinois. And if you look at the history of public opinion polling and track the issue of approval of same-sex marriage over just the last 10, 12, 14 years, it has been one of the most rapid changes on a major hot-button social issue that public opinion research has tracked. And a lot of that was due to just average people in every corner of the state, coming out and telling their story in their own way, not necessarily becoming big advocates or activists or those kind of things all the time, but just telling their story about who they are and who they love and who their family is, to their neighbors and to their friends and to their coworkers and to the people they worship with in church, mosque, or synagogue. And that changed people's minds when they could understand that all anyone wanted was to love their partner, love their families, and have a safe home and a happy home and contribute to the community. And that changed minds.
You did rise in the ranks in the Illinois House, including serving as the point man for former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan, particularly on the budget. So how do you feel about his fall from power?
Well, obviously that was a very difficult situation. And he left. Our caucus rallied around and found a new direction. And now we're serving under our first African-American speaker in the 203-year history of Illinois, Chris Welch. And he's leading us in a new direction. It's a new style of leadership. It's far more, open, far more inclusive. And the caucus is doing great things. This year we passed a really trend-setting, historic clean energy and climate bill that is a model for the nation, and it's going to help us, eliminate carbon in our state, electrify our vehicles, all kinds of benefits there. We have moved in advance of potentially what will happen in the Supreme Court starting this week to protect women's reproductive health. Illinois has codified a lot of the things that are protected in Roe into our state law so that they are not at risk nationally.
And you have been involved in so much of that, including, as I said, the budget. So assess the state's finances. Illinois' bond rating is up, sure, but what hard choices is Illinois going to face as federal COVID relief funding dries up? I mean, are we really just on a short-term sugar high?
No, I think we're on a hard path walking up. We've made great strides, but obviously you mentioned what's going to happen with COVID. I don't think any of us know how that's going to affect our budget, the revenue or federal assistance or whatever. But for right now, we're making progress. We've paid down $3 billion in debt. We've reduced our bill backlog from $17 billion to under $2 billion. We're paying our pension funds every year, the amount that we're supposed to be paying them. And we've had the first bond rating increases in a quarter of a century. And people who make their living assessing risk and financial performance have said to Illinois, you are on the right path. So our challenge in the next couple of years is stay on that path.
And you will not be there in the Springfield. Now, one last question. We've got just about a minute left. You do live openly as someone who is HIV positive, and of course there is no cure. So in this brief time, what do people need to know about HIV and AIDS today?
That it is another pandemic just like COVID, and it's one that has been with us, but one that can be, if you're tested and if you get modern treatment, it's just these days a chronic illness that can be managed. But there's also PrEP, so you can do prevention, and there are just many tools at people's disposal. And you should ask your doctor about it. Ask your local health center about PrEP and testing and treatment to be sure that you're living your best life.
And of course, another big part of your legislative legacy, working on issues related to health care and Medicaid. We hope you stay well. Thank you for your time. Representative Greg Harris, not running for re-election next year.
Thank you.